Imagine digging in your backyard and finding something that completely rewrites human history. Something so impossible, so out of place, that scientists still can't explain it over a century later. What if I told you there are artifacts buried across our planet that suggest our ancestors possessed knowledge we're only beginning to understand? Objects that shouldn't exist according to everything we know about the past. Ancient batteries that predate electricity by thousands of years. Stones weighing more than jumbo jets moved with impossible precision. Maps showing continents that weren't supposed to be discovered for centuries. Tonight, we journey into 7 archaeological discoveries that continue to baffle the world's leading experts. Discoveries that force us to ask one haunting question: how much do we really know about our own history? Archaeology is supposed to be a science of answers. We dig, we discover, we explain. But sometimes, the Earth gives up secrets that challenge everything we thought we knew. These aren't the neat, organized discoveries you see in textbooks. These are the artifacts that make professors uncomfortable. The findings that don't fit into our carefully constructed timelines of human civilization. From ancient Peru to modern-day Iraq. From the Mediterranean Sea to remote islands in the Pacific. There are objects sitting in museums and laboratories that represent some of the greatest mysteries of our time. Each discovery we're about to explore has one thing in common. They all suggest that our ancestors were far more advanced, far more knowledgeable, and far more mysterious than we ever imagined. So let's dive deep into these archaeological enigmas, starting with a discovery that literally powered its way into the history books. Discovery number 1, the Baghdad Battery. In 1936, while working on a railway project outside Baghdad, construction workers made a discovery that would perplex scientists for generations. Buried in the ancient ruins of Hujud Rabu, they found what appeared to be ordinary clay jars. But when German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig examined these 2,000-year-old artifacts more closely, he realized he was looking at something extraordinary. Inside each jar was a copper cylinder, and inside that cylinder was an iron rod. The entire apparatus was sealed with bitumen, a natural tar-like substance. To Koenig's trained eye, this wasn't just ancient pottery. This looked suspiciously like a battery. But that was impossible, wasn't it? Electricity wasn't discovered until the 18th century. Alessandro Volta didn't create the first battery until 1800. How could the ancient Parthians, living in what is now Iraq, have created electrical devices 2 millennia earlier? The mystery deepened when Koenig tested his theory. When filled with an acidic solution like vinegar or wine, these ancient jars produced a measurable electrical current. Not much, maybe 1.5 volts, but electricity nonetheless. Modern replicas of the Baghdad Battery consistently generate power, proving that these weren't just decorative objects. So what were they used for? Some researchers believe the Parthians used them for electroplating, a process where electrical current is used to coat objects with thin layers of precious metals. This would explain why so many ancient artifacts show remarkably even coatings of gold and silver, something that should have been impossible with the technology we thought they possessed. Others suggest they might have been used for medical purposes. Ancient texts describe treatments involving what we might recognize as electrical therapy. Could these mysterious jars have been ancient medical devices? But here's where the story gets even stranger. The Baghdad Battery isn't unique. Similar devices have been found across the ancient world, from Egypt to China. It's as if there was some lost knowledge of electricity that spanned continents and cultures. The archaeological establishment remains skeptical. They argue these jars were simply storage containers, that any electrical properties are coincidental. But the evidence keeps mounting. The precise construction, the careful selection of materials, the widespread distribution of similar objects all point to intentional design. What makes this discovery truly unsettling is what it implies about lost knowledge. If the ancients understood electricity, what else did they know that we've forgotten? What other technologies have been lost to time, buried beneath centuries of sand and stone? Discovery number 2, the Antikythera mechanism. In 1901, sponge divers working off the Greek island of Antikythera made a discovery that would rewrite our understanding of ancient technology. Exploring a Roman shipwreck dating to around 50 BC, they found what initially appeared to be a corroded lump of bronze and wood. For decades, it sat unexamined in a museum, dismissed as ship debris. Then, in the 1950s, historian Derek de Solla Price took a closer look. As the incrustation was carefully removed, an incredible truth emerged. This wasn't random debris. This was the world's oldest known computer. The Antikythera mechanism, as it came to be known, is a device of staggering complexity. Inside its bronze casing are dozens of precisely cut gear wheels, some smaller than coins, all interconnected in a mechanical symphony of ancient engineering. When researchers finally decoded its purpose, they were astounded. This 2,000-year-old machine could predict the positions of the sun, moon, and planets with remarkable accuracy. It could calculate eclipses, track the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games, and even account for the irregular orbit of the moon. It represented a level of astronomical and mechanical knowledge that historians believed didn't exist until the Renaissance. The precision is mind-boggling. The gear ratios are calculated to astronomical accuracy, with some wheels containing over 200 teeth cut with mathematical precision. To create something like this today, you'd need computer-controlled machinery. Yet ancient Greek craftsmen built it using hand tools and bronze casting techniques. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the Antikythera mechanism isn't what it does, but what it implies about lost civilization. If the Greeks could build this level of technology 2,000 years ago, why don't we see more of it? What happened to this knowledge? How many other incredible machines were lost when the Library of Alexandria burned or when Rome fell? Recent research has revealed even more mysteries. X-ray analysis shows that the mechanism originally had additional functions we still don't fully understand. There are gear trains that seem to serve no clear purpose, calculations that go beyond what we thought ancient astronomers needed to know. Some researchers suggest the Antikythera mechanism might have been one of many such devices. Ancient texts reference similar machines, mechanical calendars, and astronomical computers. But if these devices were common, where are they? Why is this the only one that survived? The implications are staggering. If ancient Greeks possessed this level of mechanical sophistication, what other technologies might they have developed? What other secrets lie beneath the Mediterranean, waiting to challenge our assumptions about the past? Discovery number 3, the Nazca Lines. High in the Peruvian desert, etched into a plateau that stretches for miles, lies one of the most perplexing archaeological sites on Earth. The Nazca Lines are massive drawings, some stretching over 1,200 feet long, created between 500 BC and 500 AD by the ancient Nazca civilization. But here's the thing that makes them truly mysterious. They can only be properly viewed from the air. These aren't simple sketches in the sand. They're precise, perfectly proportioned images of animals, plants, and geometric shapes. There's a spider with legs so accurately drawn that they match the proportions of a rare species found only in remote parts of the Amazon. There's a hummingbird with such perfect symmetry that modern artists struggle to replicate it. There are straight lines that run for miles across the desert floor, so perfectly aligned that they deviate by less than a few feet over distances that would challenge modern surveying equipment. The question that has haunted researchers for decades is simple. Why would an ancient civilization spend enormous amounts of time and effort creating massive artworks that they could never see? The Nazca people had no aircraft, no hot air balloons, no way to observe their creations from above. Yet the precision of these lines suggests they were meant to be viewed from a great height. Some of the images are so large that you can stand right next to them and have no idea what they represent. Only from hundreds of feet up do they transform into recognizable shapes. Dr. Maria Reich, a German mathematician who spent her life studying the lines, discovered that many of them align with astronomical events. Some point to the winter solstice, others to the rising of certain constellations. This suggests the Nazca people possessed sophisticated knowledge of astronomy and mathematics. But the mystery goes deeper. In the 1960s, researcher Jim Woodman theorized that the Nazca people might have had the ability to fly. He found ancient textiles with weaving patterns so tight they could hold hot air, similar to modern balloon materials. When he constructed a balloon using only materials available to the ancient Nazca, it actually achieved flight. Could the Nazca people have invented hot air ballooning 1,000 years before the Montgolfier brothers? It would explain how they could create and observe their massive ground drawings. But if they had this technology, why isn't it mentioned in any historical records? Why haven't we found remains of balloons or flight equipment? Other theories are even more controversial. Some researchers suggest the lines were landing strips or navigation aids for unknown aircraft. The geometric patterns, they argue, look remarkably similar to modern airport runways. While mainstream archaeology dismisses these ideas, the precision and purpose of the Nazca lines remain officially unexplained. What makes this mystery even more intriguing is that the Nazca weren't the only ancient civilization to create massive ground drawings. Similar patterns have been found in Chile, Bolivia, and other parts of Peru. It's as if there was some widespread knowledge or purpose behind these enormous earthworks that we've completely lost. Recent satellite imaging has revealed even more lines previously unknown to researchers. Some estimates suggest there may be thousands of these drawings spread across the Nazca Desert, many still waiting to be discovered. Each new finding deepens the mystery of why an ancient people would dedicate so much effort to creating art that only the gods, or perhaps the sky, could fully appreciate. Discovery number 4, the Piri Reis map. In 1929, while cataloging artifacts in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, researchers made a discovery that would challenge our understanding of ancient geographical knowledge. Hidden away in the palace archives was a map drawn in 1513 by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis. At first glance, it appeared to be just another historical curiosity. But when experts examined it closely, they realized they were looking at something that shouldn't exist. The map showed the coastline of South America with remarkable accuracy, detailing geographic features that weren't officially discovered until centuries later. But the most shocking element wasn't what it showed of the known world. It was what it revealed of the unknown world. The Piri Reis map depicted the northern coast of Antarctica with stunning precision, showing the continent as it would appear without ice cover. This was more than 300 years before Antarctica was officially discovered, and centuries before anyone knew that there was land beneath the ice. When geologists compared the map to modern seismic data of Antarctica's subglacial topography, they found the correlation was remarkably accurate. The map showed mountain ranges, valleys, and coastline features that exist beneath miles of ice. Features that we only confirmed using sophisticated 20th century technology. But how could a 16th century Ottoman admiral have access to this information? According to Piri Reis's own notes, he compiled his map from over 20 ancient sources, some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. He claimed to have used charts captured from Christopher Columbus, as well as maps that had been preserved since ancient times. This suggests that someone, thousands of years ago, had accurately mapped Antarctica when it was ice-free. The last time Antarctica was completely ice-free was over 6,000 years ago, well before any known civilization had the technology for such exploration and mapping. The mystery deepens when you examine other parts of the map. It shows South American rivers that weren't explored by Europeans until the 18th century. It depicts islands in the Caribbean with precise longitude coordinates, something that shouldn't have been possible without accurate clocks, which weren't invented until 1761. Some researchers believe the map is evidence of an advanced ancient civilization with global navigation capabilities. They argue that there must have been sophisticated mapmakers thousands of years ago who charted the world when geography was very different from today. If mainstream historians remain skeptical, arguing that the similarities are coincidental or that the map has been misinterpreted, but the accuracy is difficult to dismiss. When the US Air Force studied the map in the 1960s, they concluded that it showed remarkable knowledge of geography that was far ahead of its time. The Piri Reis map isn't alone. There are other ancient maps that show similar, impossible knowledge. The Orontius Phineus map from 1531 also depicts Antarctica ice-free, with rivers and mountains drawn in their correct locations. The Mercator map of 1569 shows the Arctic with geographic details that we only verified in the 20th century. What makes these maps truly unsettling is what they suggest about lost history. If ancient civilizations had the ability to map the world with such precision, what happened to this knowledge? Were there advanced societies that we've completely lost to time? And if they could map Antarctica when it was ice-free, what else did they know about our planet that we're only now rediscovering? Discovery number 5, Sacsayhuaman. High above the ancient Inca capital of Cusco, Peru, stands one of the most enigmatic constructions in the Americas. Sacsayhuaman is a fortress complex built from massive stone blocks, some weighing over 200 tons. But the mystery isn't just the size of these stones. It's how they were cut, shaped, and assembled with such impossible precision. When Spanish conquistadors first saw Sacsayhuaman in the 16th century, they couldn't believe what they were witnessing. The stones fit together so perfectly that you can't slip a piece of paper between them. There's no mortar, no cement, nothing holding these massive blocks together except their own perfect craftsmanship. The joints are so precise that the entire structure has survived centuries of earthquakes that have leveled more modern buildings in the area. But here's what makes Sacsayhuaman truly mystifying. The stones aren't just perfectly fitted. They're cut in complex, interlocking shapes. Some have as many as 12 angles, creating three-dimensional puzzles that would challenge modern engineers. Each stone is completely unique, yet they all fit together like pieces of an enormous jigsaw puzzle carved from solid rock. The official story is that the Inca built Sacsayhuaman using copper and bronze tools, along with ropes and ramps, to move the massive stones. But researchers have attempted to replicate this process using the tools available to the Inca, and the results are frustrating. Copper tools barely scratch these types of stone, and moving 200-ton blocks using ropes and human power seems virtually impossible, given the distances and elevations involved. Modern engineers have calculated that some of these stones would require the combined strength of over 2,000 men just to move a few feet. Yet somehow, the builders transported them from quarries miles away, then lifted them dozens of feet into the air and positioned them with millimeter precision. But the mystery goes deeper than just construction techniques. When researchers examined the stones closely, they found evidence of vitrification, a process where stone is subjected to such intense heat that it partially melts and fuses. This creates incredibly hard surfaces that resist weathering. But achieving vitrification requires temperatures of over 1,100 degrees Celsius. The Inca had no known technology capable of generating such heat. Some stones show evidence of being cut with incredible precision, as if sliced with a laser or high-pressure water jet. The cuts are so clean and straight that they appear machine-made. There are also mysterious drill holes that are perfectly circular and extend deep into solid granite, something that should have been impossible with ancient tools. Local legends offer a different explanation for Sacsayhuaman's construction. According to Inca oral traditions, the stones were shaped using a plant extract that could soften rock like clay. Once the stone was shaped, the extract would wear off and the rock would return to its original hardness. While this sounds like fantasy, some researchers have discovered that certain plants in the Amazon do produce acids capable of breaking down stone. Other theories are even more controversial. Some researchers suggest that Sacsayhuaman wasn't built by the Inca at all, but by a much older, more advanced civilization. They point to the fact that many Inca sites show clear evidence of two different building periods, with the older construction showing far superior technique. The precision at Sacsayhuaman isn't limited to the stonework. The entire complex is aligned with astronomical events, and the layout incorporates sophisticated mathematical principles. It's as if the builders possessed knowledge of engineering, mathematics, and astronomy that we're only beginning to understand. What makes Sacsayhuaman truly unsettling is that it represents just one example of impossible stone construction found across the ancient world. Similar techniques appear in Egypt, Lebanon, Easter Island, and dozens of other sites. It's as if there was some lost technology for working with stone that was known to ancient builders across the globe. Recent research using ground-penetrating radar has revealed that Sacsayhuaman is even larger than previously thought, with extensive underground chambers and tunnels that haven't been fully explored. What other secrets might be hidden beneath these impossible stones? Discovery number 6. The Voynich Manuscript. In 1912, rare book dealer Wilfrid Voynich discovered what may be the world's most mysterious manuscript. Hidden away in a Jesuit college in Italy was a book unlike anything ever seen before. Written in an unknown language, filled with bizarre illustrations and carbon-dated to the early 15th century. The Voynich manuscript has stumped codebreakers, linguists, and computer scientists for over a century. The manuscript contains 240 pages of handwritten text in a script that doesn't match any known language. The writing flows naturally, with consistent patterns that suggest it's a real language rather than random gibberish. There are no corrections or hesitations in the text, as if the author was fluent in whatever language they were using. But no one has been able to decode a single word. What makes the manuscript even more perplexing are the illustrations. The book is divided into several sections, each focusing on different topics. There's a botanical section filled with drawings of plants that don't match any known species. The plants are detailed and naturalistic, as if drawn from life, but they don't exist anywhere in the natural world. Another section appears to be astronomical, showing star charts and zodiac symbols mixed with mysterious circular diagrams. There are nude female figures in what seems to be a biological or medical section, surrounded by text that might be describing their anatomy or some kind of treatment. Perhaps the strangest section shows what appears to be an elaborate plumbing system, with naked women bathing in interconnected pools and tubes. Some researchers believe this might represent some kind of ancient spa or medical facility, but the purpose remains completely unclear. The mystery deepened when researchers began analyzing the text statistically. Computer analysis revealed that the writing follows the patterns of natural language. It has the right distribution of common and rare words, the appropriate sentence structures, and statistical properties that match real languages. This suggests it's not just elaborate nonsense, but a genuine attempt to communicate information. But if it's a real language, why can't anyone read it? Code breakers who cracked enemy codes during World War II have tried and failed. Modern computer programs that can translate dozens of ancient languages have found no matches. Even artificial intelligence systems, trained on thousands of languages, can't find any patterns that make sense. Some of the world's leading experts have proposed theories ranging from the practical to the fantastic. Maybe it's an elaborate hoax created to fool book collectors. Maybe it's a lost dialect or an artificial language created by a medieval scholar. Some suggest it might be encoded medical or alchemical knowledge, written in cipher to protect dangerous secrets. But there are darker theories. Some researchers believe the manuscript contains knowledge that was deliberately hidden, perhaps describing advanced scientific or medical techniques that were too dangerous to record in plain text. The anatomical drawings and strange botanical illustrations might represent lost knowledge of human biology or extinct plant species. Others suggest the manuscript might be evidence of contact with non-human intelligence. The impossible plants, the strange astronomical charts, the mysterious plumbing systems, all might be attempts to record encounter with beings who possessed knowledge beyond human understanding. Recent computer analysis has revealed even more mysteries. The text shows patterns that suggest it might be written in multiple languages, or that it might use a complex substitution cipher, where the same symbol can represent different sounds depending on context. But even with these insights, the manuscript remains as mysterious as ever. What makes the Voynich manuscript truly disturbing is that someone, somewhere in history, possessed knowledge important enough to record in a secret language and sophisticated enough to create a cipher that has resisted every attempt at decryption for over 600 years. What secrets might be hidden in those pages? What knowledge have we lost simply because we can't read the words? Discovery number 7, Göbekli Tepe. In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd was walking across a hill in southeastern Turkey when he noticed some strange stones protruding from the ground. What he had stumbled upon would completely rewrite human history. Those stones were the tops of massive pillars belonging to Göbekli Tepe, a temple complex that predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years and the Egyptian pyramids by 7,000 years. What makes Göbekli Tepe so revolutionary isn't just its age, it's what it represents. According to everything we thought we knew about human development, complex religious architecture like this shouldn't exist. The people who built Göbekli Tepe were supposed to be hunter-gatherers, nomadic tribes who hadn't yet discovered agriculture or developed organized religion. Yet here was proof of sophisticated construction, complex symbolism, and organized society thousands of years before it should have been possible. The site consists of massive stone pillars, some standing 18 feet tall and weighing up to 16 tons. These aren't rough stones. They're precisely carved with intricate relief sculptures of animals, humans, and abstract symbols. There are snakes, foxes, oars, lions, birds, and creatures that are harder to identify. The artwork is sophisticated, showing a level of artistic skill that rivals much later civilizations. But the mystery goes much deeper than just advanced art and architecture. The entire complex was deliberately buried around 8000 BC. Someone took enormous effort to cover the entire site with tons of soil and rubble, essentially erasing it from history. Why would a civilization work so hard to build something magnificent, only to bury it completely? Recent excavations have revealed that Göbekli Tepe is far larger than initially thought. Ground-penetrating radar shows that the visible excavations represent less than 5% of the total site. There are dozens of additional stone circles buried beneath the surface, suggesting a complex that might have taken centuries to build and could have served thousands of people. The construction techniques remain a complete mystery. The builders somehow quarried, carved, transported, and erected these massive pillars using tools that archaeologists can't identify. There's no evidence of the copper or bronze tools that would have been necessary for such precise stone carving. The joints between stones are so tight that modern masons struggle to replicate them. What's even more puzzling is the purpose of Göbekli Tepe. The site shows no evidence of permanent habitation. There are no homes, no workshops, no storage areas. It appears to have been built purely as a ceremonial or religious center. But this creates a historical paradox. How could hunter-gatherer societies organize the massive workforce necessary to build such a complex without first developing agriculture and permanent settlements? Some researchers believe Göbekli Tepe might represent evidence that our entire understanding of human development is wrong. Instead of agriculture leading to organized religion, maybe it was the other way around. Maybe the need to build and maintain sites like Göbekli Tepe is what drove humans to develop agriculture and complex society. The symbolism at Göbekli Tepe is equally mysterious. Many of the pillars are arranged in circles, with two taller pillars in the center that appear to represent humanoid figures with arms and hands. The animal carvings seem to tell stories, but we can't read them. There are repeated symbols that appear to be some kind of writing system, but they predate any known written language by thousands of years. Recent analysis of the stone carvings has revealed astronomical alignments. Some of the pillars point to specific stars and constellations as they would have appeared 12,000 years ago. One relief sculpture appears to show a comet impact, which some researchers believe might commemorate a serious cosmic catastrophe that occurred around the time Göbekli Tepe was built. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of Göbekli Tepe is what it suggests about lost civilization. If hunter-gatherers could build something this sophisticated 12,000 years ago, what else were they capable of? What other achievements have been lost to time? And why did they choose to bury their greatest accomplishment, literally hiding it from history, until a shepherd's chance discovery brought it back to light? As we reach the end of our journey through these 7 impossible discoveries, one thing becomes clear. Our understanding of human history is far from complete. Each artifact we've explored challenges fundamental assumptions about what our ancestors knew, what they could build, and what knowledge they possessed. The Baghdad Battery suggests ancient understanding of electricity. The Antikythera mechanism reveals sophisticated mechanical engineering. The Nazca lines imply aerial perspective or advanced astronomical knowledge. The Piri-Reis map shows impossible geographic accuracy. Sacsayhuaman demonstrates precision stoneworking that rivals modern techniques. The Voynich manuscript represents encrypted knowledge we still can't decode. And Göbekli Tepe proves that complex civilization existed thousands of years earlier than we thought possible. But what connects all these discoveries isn't just their age or their mystery. It's what they suggest about the continuous thread of human knowledge and achievement. These aren't random anomalies. They're evidence that our ancestors possessed capabilities and understanding that we've systematically underestimated. But these discoveries also raise uncomfortable questions. If ancient peoples possessed this level of knowledge and skill, why did it disappear? What catastrophes, what collapses, what deliberate destructions erased entire technological traditions from human memory? Consider the pattern. Advanced knowledge appears, flourishes, then vanishes, leaving behind only tantalizing clues. The Library of Alexandria burns, taking with it countless manuscripts and accumulated wisdom. Civilizations collapse, burying their achievements beneath sand and time. Knowledge that took centuries to develop disappears in a single generation. This raises a disturbing possibility. Maybe human development isn't the steady upward progression we like to imagine. Maybe it's cyclical, with periods of advancement followed by collapse and forgetting. Maybe we've been here before, achieved these levels of knowledge before, only to lose them and have to rediscover them again. Modern archaeology is beginning to acknowledge this possibility. New techniques are revealing that ancient civilizations were far more sophisticated than previously believed. Ground-penetrating radar, satellite imagery, and computer analysis are uncovering evidence of complex societies, advanced engineering, and global trade networks that existed thousands of years before they should have been possible. But for every mystery these new techniques solve, they reveal three more. The more we discover about our past, the more questions arise. Each answer leads to deeper mysteries. Each solved puzzle reveals more complex enigmas. What makes these discoveries truly fascinating isn't just what they tell us about the past, but what they suggest about the future. If our ancestors achieved things we're only beginning to understand, what does that say about human potential? What capabilities do we possess that we haven't yet realized? What knowledge are we on the verge of rediscovering? The 7 discoveries we've explored tonight represent just the beginning. There are hundreds of other archaeological mysteries waiting to be investigated, thousands of sites that haven't been properly excavated, and millions of artifacts sitting in museum storage rooms, waiting for someone with the right expertise to recognize their significance. Each new discovery forces us to expand our understanding of what's possible. Each impossible artifact makes us reconsider our assumptions about the past, and each mystery solved reveals the even greater mystery of human consciousness, creativity, and achievement. As we continue to explore our past, we're not just uncovering ancient history, we're discovering the full scope of human potential. We're learning that our ancestors were not primitive cave dwellers stumbling towards civilization, but sophisticated beings capable of achievements that still impress us today. The question isn't whether there are more mysteries to discover. The question is whether we're ready to accept what they might reveal about ourselves, our past, and our future. What secrets still lie buried beneath the sands of time? What impossible artifacts are waiting to challenge our understanding of history? And what will we discover about ourselves when we finally decode the mysteries our ancestors left behind? The answers are out there, waiting to be uncovered. And each discovery brings us one step closer to understanding the true story of human civilization, a story that may be far more incredible than anything we've yet imagined. If these archaeological mysteries have captured your imagination, there's so much more to explore. From ancient technologies that defy explanation, to lost civilizations that challenge everything we thought we knew about the past, the world is full of discoveries waiting to be understood. What mystery would you like to investigate next?